The day I was born, the first word from my father's mouth came was मेरा एक salesman बढ़ गया. After completing his education, he came down to Bhubaneswar in 1970 and started with a makeshift store at on the footpaths of Janpat. When we opened a new venture in Patia, which is the biggest furnishing store in Eastern India.
Or one thing that I notice is that you are not in a fancy sort of business that the newer generations mostly look up to. So when you were starting back then, taking over your father's business, what was your mentality? क्या mindset से enter किए थे market में?
Well-wisher came to me, he said, Gaurav, तू अगर इस स्टूल पे बैठा ना जिंदगी भर यहीं पे बैठा रहेगा. See, Odisha was never into entrepreneurship. Generally, job-oriented focus था.
So you belong to the home furnishing industry. तो कुछ बताइए ये इंडस्ट्री के बारे में कि क्या मार्केट साइज है, कैसे टाइप के प्लेयर्स हैं मार्केट में?
The market is somewhere around 200 CR in Odisha, in Odisha, and we are somewhere near maybe 7 to 8% of the Odisha market.
My guest is someone who operates in a very cluttered market. He's a second generation entrepreneur, and being a part of diverse communities, he's a very social person. My guest is Gaurav Chawla from Opulent Decor by Haryana Handlooms. Hi Gaurav, I welcome you to Trade Talk.
Thank you.
So, with this show, our aim is to understand commerce in Odisha because it is a largely overlooked subject. Odisha, as a state, if we see, it is known as a land of temples. But Odisha commerce is something that is not much spoken about. There are sizable industries like mining or education, which has made it to the national scale. But the small and medium sized companies of Odisha often fail to get much attention. So, coming to this episode, our aim is to understand your industry, your business, and we'll also try extracting your thoughts on what is happening in the market. So, to start with, my first question is about your name, Haryana Handlooms. So, as we know that in almost every city there would be a shop named Haryana Handlooms. So what is the history all about?
Uh, well, when we say Bangalore, we know it is an IT hub. So Haryana, basically Panipat is the furnishing hub of India. You can find this Haryana Handloom, New Haryana Handlooms House, Haryana Handloom Emporium all over the country. Majorly, all the owners of this entity belong to Haryana. They came down to different parts of the country for a better living. You know, manufacture वहाँ पे होता था, and they some came down to Chennai or maybe Bangalore or Odisha for that matter. My father also came down to Bhubaneswar for a better living. वहाँ से we used to buy the products and sell it over here. So trading के लिए, yes, we migrated from Haryana, and hence Haryana Handloom you'll find it all over India.
वो name को लेकर फिर
Name as such, there's no trademark. किसी का आपस में कोई link नहीं है. Just that everyone belongs to Haryana.
Okay, that is why you had Opulent Decor.
So this is the reason when we opened the latest when we opened a new venture in Patia, which is the biggest furnishing store in Eastern India, we named it at Opulent Decor by Haryana Handlooms.
Okay.
So I've got a trademark of copyright of Opulent Decor, and by Haryana Handloom, by attaching this word, you know, I followed carried the 54 years legacy.
Of course, of course. So you belong to the home furnishing industry. तो कुछ बताइए ये इंडस्ट्री के बारे में कि क्या मार्केट साइज है, कैसे टाइप के प्लेयर्स हैं मार्केट में?
Well, furniture as an industry, it is growing at a pace of 11 CAGR per annum, and furnishing would be somewhere around 10% of the furniture market. It is assumed by 2026 the market would be crossing $32 billion, and since by 2047, that is 100 years of independence, we are expecting 51% of population to be urbanized. They would be living in urban areas as compared to 31% in 2010. See, the more people shift to the urban area, the more business we get, because ours is a product which generally people buy in a town or a city, but villages में थोड़ा सा कम आ जाता है.
कम होगा. वैसे most people won't be knowing कि furnishing और furniture दोनों अलग है. It's a very simple word.
Majorly people get confused, and furniture is, of course,
Table, chair, or
both are the part of furnishing interiors.
Mhm.
When we say soft furnishing, we mean the bed linen, bath linen, table linen, curtains,
Curtains,
upholstery,
obviously.
blinds, some flooring or maybe wallpaper, vertical garden, mattresses, pillow. So all these come under soft furnishing,
Mm-hmm.
and furniture rest, of course, everyone knows.
Okay. Or one thing that I notice is that you are not in a fancy sort of business that the newer generations mostly look up to. So when you were starting back then, taking over your father's business, what was your mentality? क्या mindset से enter किए थे market में?
Well, yeah, uh, the day I was born, the first word from my father's mouth came was, "मेरा एक salesman बढ़ गया." So I knew it from day one what I have to do in future. So बचपन से ही maybe school में भी थोड़ा सा part time and college time maybe I used to go in the evening to the store with my father. So maybe I started at the age of 11 or 12. कुछ नहीं, कई बार बुक्स लेके बैठा रहता था आप.
देखते थे कैसे
Yes.
हो रहा है सब कुछ. Okay.
So generally, if you see family business, second generation or third generation, they start at a very
Very
early
early
age,
age.
and तब से interest बन जाता है business में.
Of course. तो
Uh,
बहुत होते हैं ना बच्चे की दे आर द ब्लैक शीप, दे आर द ऑड वन आउट, कि उनको कुछ अलग करना होता है, पर जब आप चालू कर रहे
yes,
थे.
of course, I would say मैं इतना ज्यादा मेरा कोई विजन उस टाइम नहीं था. जैसा पेरेंट्स बोलेंगे वैसे करेंगे. द किड्स ऑफ 80s and 90s,
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
younger generations, of course, with the world open to them, they have lots of options. उस टाइम we just had an option of डॉक्टर अबू नाले इंजीनियर अबू, नहीं तो चल बेटा बैठ जा दुकान पे.
तो अगर आपके बिजनेस पे आए तो डू यू गाइस मैन्युफैक्चर योरसेल्फ, या आप लोग सोर्स करते हो एंड देन रिटेल करते हो? व्हाट इज
We
द
have a manufacturing unit at Panipat,
हम्म
which my uncle takes care of.
हम्म
यहाँ पे भुवनेश्वर में we are completely into trading
हम्म
and customization of course, few products like blinds and curtains.
वैसे कौन से साल में शुरुआत हुई थी बिजनेस की? लाइक जब पिताजी ने शुरू किया था, विच ईयर डिड इट स्टार्ट?
After completing his education, he came down to Bhubaneswar in 1970 and started with a makeshift store at on the footpaths of Janpat.
ही स्टार्टेड दैट स्मॉल.
He actually came down as a salesman with another furnishing store who
ओके.
used to be a neighbor in Panipat. So a couple of years he learned there how to work and then started his own business.
नाइस नाइस. और अभी करंटली अगर हम जाने कि व्हाट आर योर करंट प्रोडक्ट्स जिनमें आप डील कर रहे हो, एंड व्हाट आर योर करंट मार्केट्स, कि कहाँ कहाँ आप बेच रहे हो करंटली?
So as I said, soft furnishing only. Furniture में we change the upholstery or maybe sofa वगैरह अगर कुछ बनाना हो. Not much into furniture but majorly soft furnishing. And market definitely all over Odisha.
ओके.
We have clients from Rourkela, Sambalpur, Jharsuguda, Berhampur for that case. जिन्होंने थोड़ा सा who have a better taste and don't get the options in their town, so they come down to Bhubaneswar. So, Odisha में Bhubaneswar is the only growing market, so they come down to Bhubaneswar, and yes, we give service. Our staff employees go to their towns, get the measurement done, get it customized, and then get it installed in their cities.
सो D2C तो आई कैन ऑफ कोर्स सी कि आप अपने शॉप के थ्रू, रिटेल स्टोर्स के थ्रू आप D2C कर रहे हो. आर यू गाइस आल्सो इनटू B2B?
Yes, of course. B2B, you can say it is almost 50-50 ratio.
ओके. जैसे होटल्स हो गए या रियल एस्टेट
Hotels,
प्रॉपर्टीज हो गई.
real estate हो गए, them very big, maybe public and private sector companies like Tata, Jindal, Vedanta, Nalco. They have their guest houses and then offices के blinds. So this is also very very
B2B में
big.
भी you have a very fair share के साथ
Yes,
अपन
yes,
देखें.
almost 50-50. It's almost equal.
There's another category that is B2G, that is business to government. तो is there any room अगर आप करते हो उस पे, या what are your thoughts B2G पे आपकी इंडस्ट्री में?
B2G earlier it used to be paper tender, then वो online में shift हुआ. अभी major chunk has gone to GEM, the government e-portal,
Okay.
government e-market, what we say, where the central government and the state government are pushing their departments to buy it from them. It is a very competitive. Earlier से उड़ीसा में अगर किसी ने कुछ खरीदना है, then there are very limited players in Odisha.
बिल्कुल
Now the country has been open to them. Even if I buy some stationery for office, the government recommends it to buy it from the government
जेम
portal.
पोर्टल से
And you'll be astonished to know Amazon is doing almost 80,000 crores business in India. That is a figure of around 22. And whereas Flipkart does around 560 crores, and government ka GEM portal does around 2 lakh crores business
That's
annually.
crazy.
So this is the scale of business that GEM does.
So जो भी requirement है, then there's national level players जो कि वो चीज के लिए bidding करेंगे to give a
Yes,
better price या
for a
anything like
competitive price.
Okay.
And of course, government also gets benefited, and this also helps in reducing the corruption.
So भैया, what sort of positioning do you have in the market? किस category को major target करते हैं आप लोग?
See, we have two stores in Bhubaneswar currently, the Rajmal one and the Patia. The Rajmal one basically targets the lower and mid segment clients, and the Patia is for the niche. We have major products we have to target the mid sector and the premium sector.
एक बार ना, give us an idea on the scale of your business and what sort of growth patterns are you seeing currently in the market?
Furnishing industry, you can say, if we go a bottom up approach, the market is somewhere around 200 cr, and
In Odisha?
in Odisha, and we are somewhere near maybe 7 to 8% of the Odisha market. And of course, furnishing में we can always see a growth of 15 to 20% annually.
Okay. बहुत लोग देख रहे कि there's a slower growth happening या consumption को लेके people are doubting.
Having said that, I think Odisha and especially in Bhubaneswar में, if you do business in Odisha and you say यार धंधा नहीं है, then I think आपको business करना नहीं आता. There's an ample of business in Bhubaneswar. People come across the state
To do business.
to do business. So if you are consistent, you're honest, you are
वैसा
can
result
continue
आएगा.
stating yourself, you're presentable, then I don't think there's any lack of business in Bhubaneswar.
तो अगर हम एक बिजनेस के यूजुअल टाइप्स ऑफ कस्टमर्स देखें तो देयर आर 3 टाइप्स. फर्स्ट इज साइक्लिकल, जहाँ पे अ कस्टमर मेक्स परचेज एट रिपीटेड इंटरवल्स, रेगुलर इंटरवल्स. एपिसोडिक वुड बी अ काइंड जो कि किसी नीड या इवेंट के होने पे परचेज करेंगे. एंड एराटिक वुड बी द काइंड जो कि मोस्टली डिस्काउंट स्टोर्स से या वैसी डिस्काउंट ऑफर होने से दे वुड बी शॉपिंग. अगर हम आपकी इंडस्ट्री देखें तो यू मोस्टली डील विद episodic as well as erratic customers. The direction of my question goes कि if we talk about an unorganized player जो कि एक limited market पे dependent है, let's say वो एक दुकान लगा के बैठा है कोई, तो we see a very dicey sort of growth. So what sort of advice would you like to give them to sustain in the market?
First, I'll come to the first point. See, market of furnishing and furniture market is basically directly proportionate to the infrastructure development of the city and the state, the population, the urbanization. So it depends where you want to position yourself. Regarding the unorganized players, I just have 4 points to say. First is market penetration. Say, आप अगर भुवनेश्वर में माल बेच रहे हो एंड आपको लग रहा है कि मैंने कर लिया, यू गो डीप इनसाइड, यू हैव टू अपॉइंट मार्केटिंग गाइज हु कैन अंदर गलियों तक चले जाएं, छोटे छोटे मार्केट में चले जाएं, मेक सब डीलर्स. सो दैट इज वन वे टू इंक्रीज योर मार्केट. द अदर वे इज प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट. आज मैं से मेन के कपड़े बेच रहा हूँ, मैं उसमें वुमेन ऐड कर लिया, किड्स ऐड कर लिया, सो आई हैव डेवलप्ड माय प्रोडक्ट्स. सो मेन में मैं कुछ जो भी बेच रहा था वुमेन एंड किड्स में दैट वुड बी ऐड ऑन. सो दिस इज द सेकंड वे. थर्ड वे इज मार्केट डेवलपमेंट. से आज भुवनेश्वर में मैंने मार्केट पेनिट्रेशन कर लिया, प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट हो गया. नाउ मे बी इट्स टाइम टू रीच आउट टू बरहमपुर और मे बी झारसुगुड़ा और expand कटक चले जाओ. So expand yourself. अपना geographical location, you can increase the location, the geographical barrier. And the point is diversification. And diversification is a risky game. which is
You mean diversification in different industries?
you have to have a complete knowledge of the products.
बिल्कुल या तो
Otherwise,
इवन नियर बाय इंडस्ट्रीज में जो भी मिलती जुलती
yes,
चीजें
similar
होती
industry में कर लो से furnishing में हूँ तो I can add on lights, I can add on
बिल्कुल
furniture. So these are I can add on the interiors part, the execution part.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल तो अगर हम एक मैक्रो व्यू में देखें तो एक्सपेंशन इन द राइट मार्केट इज द ओनली वे टुवर्ड्स ग्रोथ अगर हम आपके बिजनेस की बात करें तो व्हाट बिजनेस मॉडल आर यू अटेनिंग इन ऑर्डर टू एक्सपैंड जैसे फ्रेंचाइजी हो गई या आप अपने रिटेल स्टोर्स खोलोगे सो व्हाट इज द प्लान एंड इवन रियल एस्टेट बूम आ रहा है उड़ीसा में देयर आर लाइक 40,000 न्यू प्रॉपर्टीज सो हाउ आर यू प्लानिंग टू टैप दैट
Well, expansion, if had it been a QSR sort of business, then definitely FOCO would be more advisable. But since ours is a service-related industry, which service plays a major part because same brand के products almost everyone keeps. All your competitor have the products. वहाँ पे price sensitive market हो जाता है. यहाँ पे we can go for a FOFO model which I am planning up. Franchisee owned, franchisee operated, wherein all the SOPs and the ideas and the experience
सब
would
आप
be
लोग
shared with
control
the franchisee. But the franchisee owner also has to directly get in contact with the clients in parts of service. I think within 3 to 4 years, Bhubaneswar mein there would be almost 30 to 40,000 units available for possession. उसके लिए we are planning something maybe multiple stores, so definitely with a different geographical locations. But then again, we are planning to have a centralized service unit. You know, abhi jo we actually face difficulties with the tailors, the fitting mistri, the skilled laborers, you can say. Currently, I'm negotiating with in China as well as Europe.
Okay.
For the stitching machineries, automated machinery, curtain stitching के, it saves a lot of time. Labor orientation तो थोड़ा सा labor work कम हो जाता है. And then you don't have to face the tantrums of the skilled which we actually face. And उसमें whatever it is manual में कहीं ना कहीं कई बार गलतियां हो जाती हैं. वो finishing नहीं आती. So I'm planning to set up a stitching unit itself.
अगर हम आपके बिजनेस को देखें तो व्हाट आर द पीक मंथ्स लाइक इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू इन टर्म्स ऑफ बिजनेस एंड व्हाट आर द मंथ्स जिस पे थोड़ा स्लोअर परफॉर्मेंस होता है एंड व्हाट आर दे लाइक एंड आई वांट एन अमाउंट कि मिनिमम या मैक्सिमम कितना जाता है एक अंदाज के लिए
majorly over the years if we see Dashera and Diwali is the peak season wherein puja time mein Dashera time mein the local the Oriya people buy products and post Dashera Diwali time mein the non Oriyas the Punjabi Marwaris they generally change their curtains for their houses and for towel it's March winters में आ जाते हैं blankets and shawl का so product wise भी it depends market आपका कौन से month में क्या हो रहा है having said that definitely peak हमारा दशहरा and दिवाली ही है and
मेजर कितना बिजनेस देखते हो जस्ट एक अप्रॉक्स जानने के लिए फॉर अ बिजनेस ऑफ योर साइज मेजर बिजनेस कितना आ सकता है
somewhere around 1 CR
a month
a month
वो duration
only the soft
वो
finishing part
duration में
yes
एंड अगर हम एक स्लोवर मंथ को देखें कौन स्लोवर मंथ्स कौन से होंगे
slower months जनरली हम बोलते हैं ना श्राद्धा मासा
ओके
या रेनी सीजन हो जाता है सो जून जुलाई मई जून बिकॉज ऑफ हीट जुलाई रेनी सीजन एंड देन अगस्त में ये श्राद्ध मास आ जाता है सो ये 3-4 मंथ्स हमारे लिए थोड़ा सा बट देन अगेन ओवर द इयर्स ऐसे ही हो गया मेरे को पहले एक शर्ट खरीदनी होती थी तो आई यूज टू वेट 2 मंथ्स 3 मंथ्स की कला मंदिर में सेल लगेगी तो मैं ये शर्ट खरीदूंगा बट अभी वो नहीं है मेरा कल किसी फ्रेंड की शादी है तो मैंने आज शर्ट खरीदनी है आज ही खरीदूंगा सो मार्केट अभी ऑलमोस्ट सेम हो गया थ्रू आउट द ईयर बट थोड़ा थोड़ा फ्लक्चुएशन होता ही है
So businesses rely either on a strong physical establishment or a strong digital establishment. Either one is usually a codependency of the trade. तो अगर हम आपके बिजनेस की बात करें तो the shop that you own or the warehouses that you have are the codependency. तो टोटल ओवरऑल बिजनेस चलाने कितनी जमीन लगती है फॉर अ यूजर टू अंडरस्टैंड, कितने स्क्वायर फीट जमीन लेनी पड़ेगी टू रन अ बिजनेस दिस साइज?
If you want to target the mass, I would say 1,000 to 1,500 square foot would be good enough, where you just put on your products in the shelves and start selling.
This is for a usual.
For a usual, when you mid or a mid sector, if you target the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But when you target a premium sector,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have experience store
Mm-hmm.
where you have display areas
लोग
of
आके देख सके.
different products.
Mm-hmm.
People touch, feel,
Mm-hmm.
experience the
Mm-hmm.
beautification. So वहाँ पे थोड़ी थोड़ी जगह you have to sacrifice
Of
that
course.
retail space.
Of course.
So I think 4,000 square feet for that scale would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
And currently our Patia store is somewhere around 8,000 square feet.
एंड द वेयर हाउसेस या वो सब में कितना लग जाता होगा?
Warehouse we have around 4 to 5,000 square feet का warehouse.
ओके. द अदर शॉप, राजमहल शॉप, क्या साइज होगी रफली उसकी?
Rajmal is 1,000 to 1,100 square feet का store.
ओके. नेक्स्ट इज कि अगर हम किसी बिजनेस की एफिशिएंसी मेजर करें, एक रिटेल स्पेस की एफिशिएंसी को मेजर करें, तो डू यू गाइस मेजर रेवेन्यू पर स्क्वायर फीट एज अ मेट्रिक?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay.
But then again, it depends on the industry.
Of course. Plus you have an experience store, तो शायद आप
हाँ.
उतना आप
If you compare it with the warehouse, I can say 1:3 ratio is what I feel is opt for our industry. Like we have 1,000 square feet ka store, so we usually have to have a 3,000 square feet ka warehouse. Store में we can just keep samples and the major products warehouse में आ जाते हैं. If we calculate per square feet, again when we target the class, experience store and display units ka if we calculate, then per square feet revenue per month per square feet should be somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000
दिस इज
rupees.
पर मंथ करके आप बता रहे हो.
Yes.
And there's another metric that is stock turnover ratio, which is even a very important metric for any business. Tell us something about it.
Again, in our industry, stock turnover ratio of 4 to 5 times uh, is considered to be a good number.
एक बार ना for our viewers आप stock turnover ratio को समझाइए एक बार.
Stock turnover ratio is something when I bought a product, one product for rupees 100, and then I sold it for 110. Again, I bought the same product for 100 rupee, 10 rupee was my profit, जिसमें से मेरे expenses वगैरह भी हैं. Again, I bought it for 100, then again for the third time, and again for the fourth time. So I invested rupees 100 and rotated the stock 4 times a year. So stock turnover ratio is nothing but the current stock is to the turnover ratio. So say if I have a stock of 1 CR, a minimum revenue I should expect should be 4 CR. So it has to be a decent number is 4 to 5 times.
So have you explored selling online via Flipkart or Amazon? Because if there's someone who wants to start today, online is the best way to enter the market.
Yes, I have started and I failed miserably. During the lockdown, that was one time when everyone started to go online. Where we have a brick and mortar store, we have a geographical location barrier. When we are online, the world is open to us. So definitely revenue and हमारे पास कोई restrictions client की या geographical barriers नहीं रहते. And lockdown में since the brick and mortar stores were shut down apart from the necessity, so I tried selling it online. Few difficulties I faced were curtains and blinds are majorly हमारे जो products हैं, those are customized. उसका कोई readymade size नहीं है. Everyone has the different sizes of the windows or doors for that matter, flooring वगैरह के लिए भी. So you have to give them service. One service के लिए, so if you put aside this service part, products में bed and bath linen is doing very good in online. But then वहाँ पे इतना competition होता है, and you have to upgrade yourself. आपका stock वगैरह क्या है क्या नहीं, that you have to
selling online is an art.
selling online is an art, but then again, I feel it is again difficult for even manufacturers to sell it online. The price competition, and then
Mm-hmm.
if you know go down with prices, you have to compromise in quality. So which is where I think I couldn't survive. But then of course lockdown में I tried, and then this quarantine wards and ये सब का received the
Okay.
orders for the hospitals, and we were the first one to make the quarantine train in Odisha.
अच्छा.
So then
So
my
ट्रेन
focus,
में जो
yeah, quarantine wards different different वो bogies में बना दिए थे. So focus shift हो गया था online से वापस
बिजनेस कहीं ना कहीं से आना
business आना
चाहिए.
चाहिए.
तो भैया आप तो जैसे उड़ीसा काफी ट्रैवल करते होंगे, एक्सप्लोरिंग न्यू मार्केट्स. तो विच आर द इमर्जिंग सिटीज दैट यू सी इन उड़ीसा?
You'll be astonished to know the figure where the per capita income of Bhubaneswar is somewhere around 1.53 lakhs.
Yeah.
The per capita income of Jharsuguda is somewhere around 2.45.
Crazy.
Whereas Sambalpur is almost equivalent to Bhubaneswar, and Angul is 1.64, so more than Bhubaneswar per capita. हमारी लाइन में we also see the target audience. Residential projects कितने आ रहे हैं, where in Khurda district you can say somewhere around 35 to 40 big uh, projects आ रहे हैं, housing projects आ रहे हैं. संबलपुर में there is somewhere around 20. राउरकेला में भी almost 30-35 housing projects, and बरहमपुर में 35 to 40 projects आ रहे हैं. So संबलपुर, राउरकेला, झारसुगुड़ा, बरहमपुर, अंगुल,
These would be the
these are
emerging
the,
cities.
yes.
So भैया currently आपकी टीम कितनी बड़ी है? And which would include of course all the frontline workers या ground level staff हो गए. कितनी बड़ी टीम अभी आप currently manage कर रहे हो?
Currently हमारा, if we add on all the group total strength would be somewhere around 50. But of course बोलते हैं ना लाइफ में एक ख्वाहिश है कि मेरे इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की वजह से my target is to feed almost 500 families.
That is the aim that you have ultimately. तो वैसे अगर हम देखें तो currently what are your operational hours in the business and आप कितना hours देते हैं खुद?
I almost you can say work almost 12 to 13 hours a day, so that makes 72 hours a week.
और business का operational hours क्या रहता है?
Business we are open 365, so business would be somewhere around 90 hours a week.
भैया गल्ले पे बैठना कितना जरूरी है? Because there's one school of thought that says to set up the system and processes in place ताकि आपकी physical dependency चले जाए. तो ये चीज पे आपके क्या विचार है?
See, बचपन से my father had taught me चाबी लेके आना है, चाबी लेके जाना है, गल्ले पे खुद बैठना है, and वो जरूरी था उस टाइम. You know, with the technologies coming up, बारकोडिंग हो गया, आपका सिस्टम्स हो गए, सॉफ्टवेयर्स आ गए. आई थिंक अब टाइम आ गया है, वी शुड लीव दैट चेयर. राजमहल का वी ओपनड अनदर स्टोर, एंड अ वेल विशर केम टू मी, ही सेड गौरव तू अगर इस स्टूल पे बैठा ना जिंदगी भर यहीं पे बैठा रहेगा. सो यू नो दैट थिंग हिट मी इन माय ब्रेन. सो तब से आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग की हाउ डू आई ऑटोमेट इट, हाउ डू आई पुट इट इनटू ऑटोमेशन मोड, एंड देन इसको छोड़ूंगा, देन आई विल हैव टाइम टू थिंक समथिंग न्यू. सो अगर आप 24 आवर्स इन्वॉल्व हो, भैया सेल भी मैंने करनी है, परचेज भी मैंने करनी है, एचआर भी मैंने देखना है, गले पे भी मैंने बैठना है, सो इसमें आपकी ग्रोथ एक रिस्ट्रिक्शन आ जाता है. बट इफ यू आर हैप्पी डूइंग दैट, इफ यू आर हैप्पी विथ योर स्टेट, आई थिंक नथिंग इज बेटर. बट ह्यूमन वांट्स आर ऑलवेज नेवर सेटिस्फाइड.
बट आप इवेंचुअली जब आप फ्रेंचाइजी मॉडल पे जाओगे तो यू विल हैव टू ऑटोमेट एवरी सिंगल थिंग. तो भैया अगर हम न्यू बिजनेसेस को देखें, इमर्जिंग बिजनेसेस को देखें मार्केट में, उड़ीसा में अगर मैं स्पेसिफिकली बात करूं, तो व्हाट डू यू सी लैकिंग? बिकॉज आप एक ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्री से बिलोंग करते हो, आपका एक अलग एक्सपीरियंस है, एक अलग स्कूल ऑफ थॉट, एक अलग अपब्रिंगिंग है. पर अगर आप आज का जनरेशन देखते हो तो व्हाट डू यू सी लैकिंग?
Research. Majorly startups fail because they say we have an idea and मैंने इसको encash करना है. Whereas idea comes at a second stage. We first have to find a problem. हमारे क्लाइंट्स को या किसी भी फॉर केस किसी भी आदमी को मेरे को इस जगह ये चीज की प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे को ये इशू है, तो उस प्रॉब्लम को दूर करना एक एंटरप्रेन्योर का काम है. ये व्हेन यू आइडेंटिफाई द प्रॉब्लम मास को प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रही है, देन यू कम अप विद द सॉल्यूशन एंड देन यू डू योर रिसर्च ऑन इट. कई बार इवन एक रनिंग इंडस्ट्री में भी एक गुड इंडस्ट्री सेफ इंडस्ट्री में से इन्वेस्टमेंट समवेयर अराउंड 100 रुपी होना चाहिए, एंड बिकॉज मेरा ये फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट है या जो भी मैंने इसको बेस्ट करना है 500 रुपी इन्वेस्ट कर देते हैं. ओवर इन्वेस्टमेंट आ जाता है. सो प्रॉपर इन्वेस्टमेंट, नॉलेज ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, मार्केट साइज क्या है, किस टाइप के टारगेट ऑडियंस क्या है, आप कहाँ पोजिशनिंग करना चाहते हो, ये सारा पहले, इवन इफ यू हैव टू स्पेंड समथिंग ऑन इट, डू दैट इंस्टेड ऑफ इन्वेस्टिंग द होल अमाउंट एंड फेल हो जाओ.
Of course. But yeah, I see that you are a part of various communities, as I've mentioned before, and networking is something that is super important for any business, but it also comes with a price, and it takes more than money. It takes your time, it takes your effort, and your mindset cannot be even transactional. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I've been the past chair of Roundtable India, the past chair of CIIY Bhubaneswar Odisha chapter, the past president of BNI Supreme. I feel all these networking in forums, you really learn a lot when you, especially when you play a leadership role. You know how to manage the equals. अपनी कंपनी में आपने अपने एम्प्लॉय से कोई काम कराना है, या तो उसको डांट दिया या ऑर्डर देके भैया यू हैव टू डू दैट, बट व्हेन आपने किसी एंटरप्रेन्योर से इक्वल से काम कराना है, it's a different thing, total a different ball game altogether. With this again time consumption भी बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. I actually love networking, so that's the reason I'm affiliated to so many organizations. But money involved, if you say, definitely उसका return आ जाता है. That is not an issue. Time का if you know grasp some learning from it, then it is valuable. Otherwise, it is a useless thing.
We even Bhubaneswar mein recently we are seeing a lot of women participation, be it in startups, yeah, even in C-suite roles in traditional industries, yeah, even women's taking CSR roles in homegrown companies. So, as you are a part of various communities, what changes do you see in the ecosystem?
Well, in Bhubaneswar with this Fiki Flow, IWN, and Invec coming up, all these women entrepreneurs, I think this really motivates other females to do better in their lives. Currently, Bhubaneswar and in and around me, you can see a lot of emerging women entrepreneurs. Whereas if you go to the villages or tier 3 cities, वहाँ पे अभी भी वो development
Even
नहीं
I
देखा.
had that question कि आप कब तक देख रहे हैं कि tier 3 cities में ये चीज जाएगी?
So I think community is the only way, awareness. More forums like such Invec and all, if they definitely open another chapter in the smaller cities, that would really encourage and motivate the women entrepreneurs.
Bhubaneswar is also rich in terms of the gig economy. By this I mean there's a lot of student participation as freelancers or as independent contractors in the market. So I want to know your thoughts on few emerging industries, few emerging gigs that are out there, and I would like to know your views or experience with them. The first is marketing agencies. So, in the past, have you had any encounter or any experience with marketing agencies?
Marketing agency ka, you can say, post COVID, major chunk of marketing I have shifted from to digital media. पहले अपना टीवी चैनल्स में, सिनेमा हॉल्स वगैरह में होर्डिंग्स वगैरह बहुत करते थे, बट पोस्ट पैंडमिक डेफिनेटली सारा डिजिटल मार्केट में शिफ्ट हुआ है, एंड द फ्रीलांसर्स आर मशरूमिंग in
बिल्कुल।
Bhubaneswar. Of course, for a startup or maybe a growing industry,
Mhm.
they help you a lot because they don't charge you that much
That much
amount which the established business houses charge.
can charge.
So everyone has their own market,
बिल्कुल।
but definitely this is a very very growing market in Bhubaneswar.
Second is social media influencers, and it is a really trending thing. So, आपने कराई है influencer
Okay,
marketing पहले?
interesting. I have two things in it. One, social media influencers. If you see again Bhubaneswar mein, there are not many influencer in different
Diverse
categories.
category.
You see food and beverages mein you'll find, yeah, fashion industry, fashion and makeup industries mein you'll find. If I say about home and lifestyle,
Mhm.
there are almost none.
बिल्कुल।
Real estate हो गया,
बिल्कुल।
maybe
डिवर्सिफाइड इंडस्ट्रीज
diversified
में नहीं है,
industries में
कम
नहीं है.
इंडस्ट्रीज में बहुत सारे
And
इन्फ्लुएंसर्स
then
हैं।
again, I would say the influencer should have some social responsibility also.
Mhm.
खाली because they are paying and कुछ गलत को भी मैं ठीक बोलूं, which is
That
wrong.
is not right.
I have recently had many cases wherein I was influenced by some food bloggers,
Hmm.
and then when I went there, वो totally different था. ना सर्विस अच्छी थी, ना फूड अच्छा था.
Mhm.
So at least whatever they influence, at least you
Mhm.
should be fair to your audience.
बिल्कुल।
So this
बिल्कुल।
is one advice I would like to give them.
The third is stand-up comedians.
हाँ.
This is even a very emerging industry. All over India, हम देख रहे कि there are a lot of stand-up comedians who have been very successful. What do you see in Odisha?
Uh,
Did you have any experience
with
locally?
this national stand-up, definitely we have experience.
Mhm.
They are amazing. Locally, you can say I didn't had much of
अभी तक
interaction.
नहीं
अभी तक
किया।
नहीं हुआ है.
Mhm.
But then I think they are actually emerging,
Mhm.
and scripting is good, but maybe थोड़ा सा और experience, थोड़ा सा और exposure
बिल्कुल।
की जरूरत है.
Events or concerts be is something that is really trending nowadays as an emerging industry.
Again, because employment है नहीं, and youth is very much attracted towards the events. So this is a very 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 passionate industry for the youth. Ki I am loving what I do, so I am definitely seeing a very much growth in the same industry.
Okay. The last is Nightlife, which has been around for a while, since a year and a half. There are a lot of clubs opening in the market. So, what are your thoughts? How do you see this thing?
Definitely nightclubs are emerging,
Mhm.
and the youth, they want to work Monday to Friday, Saturday Sunday हमने
Party करनी
party
है।
करना है. uh, but then with the limited population of Bhubaneswar,
Mhm.
if something new opens, वही सारा crowd वहां चला
वहाँ
जाएगा.
चला गया।
There are very few nightclubs who have maintained their audience.
Okay.
So, and then again, this is one industry where you have to, upgrade yourself every 2 years.
बिल्कुल।
Interiors change करना, नहीं तो customers bore हो जाएंगे. And when you start this, just keep in mind बहुत ज़्यादा investment initially नहीं करना चाहिए.
Mhm.
Uh, but then you have to position yourself. मैंने niche को
Mhm.
target करना है, या
Mhm.
मैंने youngsters को target करना है. So
Mhm.
your pricing, आपकी revenue pricing वगैरह भी has to be that way. And then entertainment part, कोई ना कोई live singer, या you have to keep on doing that.
बिल्कुल।
So there are many, I don't think haven't yet attained their break even.
Mhm. Usually it takes around 3 to 4 years अगर हम break even की बात करें. Usually.
Yes, breakdown. Generally, what we calculate is 2.5 to 3 years. Mein we should have a
Break
breakdown.
even.
Again, industry wise depend करता है. Some industry might take 4 years,
बिल्कुल।
but then उससे ज़्यादा होता है तो why not invest in a bank? Bank interest क्यों ना ले लो? If you're
एफडी
doing
कर।
FD, आपको FD का क्या
ओके।
इंटरेस्ट कुछ भी नहीं है आज की डेट में.
तो as we discussed अभी emerging industries और gigs के बारे में, so let's say if your kid wants to get into any of these emerging industries, be it as a social media influencer or a stand-up comedian, या उसको club खोलनी है, so what would be your thoughts?
Currently, my kids are too small,
Uh-huh.
too young. My elder one is in class 8, and the younger
Okay.
one is in class 1. सो जो छोटा है वो तो आज मैं कभी शेफ बनूंगा, कभी पुलिस बनूंगा, अभी ऐसे ही है। बट देन एल्डर वन इज स्टिल डिस्कवरिंग, मैं क्या करना चाहिए। कभी इंटीरियर डिजाइनिंग में आ जाता है, कभी शी सेज कि मैंने
अभी
पापा
भी
का
एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं सब।
बिजनेस, दे आर स्टिल एक्सप्लोरिंग। हैविंग
हम्म,
सेड दैट, आई वुड, थ्री इडियट्स के बाद एक लाइफ लेसन सीखने को मिला है, बेटा तूने जो करना है कर। So, and but if you ask me deep in the heart, I would definitely want them to join my business,
फैमिली बिजनेस परस्यू
join my
करे।
the and continue the legacy which my grandfather started. My father continued. I am still pursuing,
अमेजिंग।
and I'm building. As a father होता है कि बच्चों के लिए कर रहे हैं,
बिल्कुल
so
बिल्कुल
वो नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा।
बिल्कुल
अंदर में
बिल्कुल
I actually want them to beautify spaces in Odisha,
बिल्कुल।
which our ancestors has been doing for years. But definitely, I won't force them to do
जो करना है करे।
जो करना है करो।
बट इवन ये सवाल से लिंक्ड ही मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है कि अगर हम लेगेसी बिजनेसेस की बात
हम्म।
करें तो स्टडीज शो दैट ओनली 30% ऑफ फैमिली बिजनेसेस मेक इट टू द सेकेंड जनरेशन। सो व्हाट डू यू गेट टू सी इन ओडिशा? आप यहाँ क्या देखते हो?
See, Odisha was never into entrepreneurship. Generally, जॉब ओरिएंटेड फोकस था। इवन आपने बेटी की भी शादी करनी है तो प्रेफरेंस हमेशा जॉब वाले को मिलेगी। बच्चा पैदा होता है, बेटा बड़ा होके क्या बनेगा, ना डॉक्टर है भी ना इंजीनियर है भी, दो चीजें आती हैं। Currently, I have seen Odia entrepreneurs mushrooming. So there are hardly any examples of second or third generation in Odisha. But then again, you say 90% फेल हो जाता है in the third
थर्टी
generation,
परसेंट
third
थर्टी
generation.
परसेंट सर्वाइव करता, सॉरी,
थर्टी
थर्टी
परसेंट
परसेंट सर्वाइव
थर्टी
करता है।
परसेंट सर्वाइव करता है for the third generation. I think rest 70%, it's not about, it's about अपग्रेडिंग योरसेल्फ। मे बी एक जनरेशन ने फ्यूचर मार्केट स्टडी नहीं किया, आपका फ्यूचर में क्या हो रहा है। अभी देर आर सो मेनी चेंजेस विच टेक प्लेस इमीडिएटली। पहले कुछ चेंज के लिए यूज टू टेक डिकेड्स, अभी एवरी
इन द
3 to 4
डिजिटल
years
एज।
में यू कैन से जनरेशन बदल गई है। सो यू हैव टू कीप अपग्रेडिंग योरसेल्फ, डू नेटवर्किंग, कीप लर्निंग, and study the market continuously. I think आप, if you are ahead of your market, 10 generations भी निकल जाएंगे,
बिल्कुल
बिजनेस तो ग्रो करेगा ही
बिल्कुल
करेगा।
बिल्कुल। भैया और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट आता है गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज का कि फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ एनी इंडस्ट्री द गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज एंड इनिशिएटिव्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तो अगर हम आपकी इंडस्ट्री की बात करें तो आर देयर एनी पॉलिसीज दैट कम इनटू प्लेस एंड हैज इट मेड एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ इम्पैक्ट?
Odisha was never into textile industry. Of course, we have कोट पाट हो गया या संबलपुरी हो गया, या we have some local artisans, पट्टचित्र पेंटिंग्स वगैरह ये सारी हैं, which but textile industry में currently government is very very much keen. Welspun has already started their plant. OTM Mills have started कर रहा है. They have acquired land in Balasur, and in Khurda maybe they're coming up with another plant. Jockey has come down to Bhubaneswar. So, but then again, textile industry is huge. You need to have that. You need to have ancillary units as well. Dyeing unit होना चाहिए, yarn होने चाहिए, then manufacturing unit हो गया, packing units होने चाहिए, ancillary units. It's पूरा
अभी जा
क्लस्टर एक बार साथ में आए।
बिल्कुल।
Currently, I think government is also planning to open a textile cluster wherein 20 to 30 textile giants are coming together. से स्मॉल इंडस्ट्री, मैं अगर इंडिविजुअली अपना एक कोई प्लांट लगाता हूँ, मे बी देर आर सम मशीनरीज हु विच वैल्यू इन क्रोर्स, मैं इंडिविजुअली मेरी कैपेसिटी नहीं है खरीदने की, एंड देन अगेन खरीद खरीद भी लूं, अंडर यूटिलाइज रहेगा। So I'm also part of this cluster.
Okay.
We are coming up with a cluster of this textile with the name of Oditex, wherein
Oditex.
Oditex, Odisha Textile,
Okay.
Oditex is
Okay.
the name derived from, wherein we are getting the machineries, embroidery से लेकर, handloom से लेकर, power loom से लेकर, and we name the machinery, we have it in that, and we can get it converted with the.
This will
forum.
overall help the
Yeah,
ecosystem
so
grow.
this is a company formed under Section 8, which is a non-profitable company, wherein all the
Okay.
members of the textile industry would pool in, and some part of the investment government is taking care of.
Okay.
So this is a nice way to promote the industry. Once this sets up, I think sky would be the limit in the textile industry in Odisha.
Bilkul, bilkul. So I would end the interview with the last question. The question is that the brain drain that India goes through is often talked about, but if we see brain drain in Odisha, it is not much, spoken about. It is a really critical situation. So how can Odisha commerce solve this, and how much would you blame it on the industry side for the lack of information?
अभी तक उड़ीसा में इंडस्ट्री, एज यू सेड, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में थोड़ा बहुत है. Majorly mining, steel industry, he was the major one playing part, be it aluminium, be it ferrous or whatever. But youth को क्या चाहिए? IT industry after Infosys थोड़ा थोड़ा आने लग गए, but अभी भी if you say people are going to Bangalore, they're going to Mumbai, they're going to Noida, Delhi, Gurgaon for that case. Why? Because they want to work 5 days and then 2 दिन हमने enjoy करना है. We didn't had that night clubs which you said. Night clubbing, mushrooms हो रहे हैं, IT companies आ रही हैं, textile आ रहा है. आज के you name the industry, government is very keen to bring down to Odisha. So government की policy definitely बहुत soft हुई है towards with the single window and all the stuffs coming up. The people who were going to Bangalore because of waters or maybe the traffic, now if they get the same environment in Bhubaneswar, with Bhubaneswar being the education hub in Eastern India, so I think it's a reverse brain drain now. So we are looking forward for this.
Thank you, Bia. It was really nice having you here. We got to know a lot about your industry and everything. And thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me as well.